You shall know them by their fruits. It's a quotation from Matthew 7, verse 16. And invite all to turn out in large numbers to welcome the Holy Father. May his coming bring us all the spiritual benefits we need to grow as one united nation, strong in faith and rooted in God's love. Respect for the dignity of every person. As we prepare to welcome the Holy Father, may this be a moment for all of us to reflect on what we can do to turn this country into a Kenya we want. A country where the dignity of every person is respected, where we live together as brothers and sisters, irrespective of our ethnicity or place of origin. A country where we can move and work freely as Kenyans with access to equal opportunities, where the resources of this country are shared equitably, especially in most neglected and marginalized areas. A country where there is religious tolerance and respect for persons, shared values and high standards. The coming of the Holy Father gives us the opportunity to reflect on those values which are the cornerstone and foundation of our nation, for which our ancestors struggled and sacrificed their lives. We reflect on the values of hard work and honesty, value of integrity, responsibility, national unity, and respect for the rule of law. It is therefore our collective responsibility as Kenyans to fight and guard against emerging trends and threats to these very values. We also must tackle the festering wounds of corruption, the heightened looting from public coffers by those entrusted with public resources. We must guard against reckless and irresponsible utterances that can incite communities to violence and promote respect to the laws of our country. Similarly, we need to restore the high standards of our education system, characterized by honesty and truth. Our school children need to be brought up in a moral and upright way that is in conformity with our African and Christian traditions. We cordially extend a special welcome to our Holy Father in our African style. Karibu Kenya, Baba Mtakatifu. God bless Kenya. God bless you all. Mungu nguvu yetu, ilete baraka kwetu is our national anthem. And this release statement is signed by the following bishops. Bishop Philip Anyolo, the chairman of the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops and Bishop of Homa Bay. His Eminency, John Cardinal Njue of Nairobi Archdiocese. Most Reverend Zacchaeus Okoth of Kisumu Archdiocese, Most Reverend Peter Cairo of Nyeri Archdiocese, Most Reverend Martin Kivuva Musonde of Mombasa Archdiocese, Right Reverend Paul Daramanini of Garissa Diocese, Right Reverend Cornelius Korir of Eldoret Diocese, Right Reverend Joseph Mairura Okemwa of Kisii Diocese, Right Reverend Alfred Rotich of Military Ordinariate, Right Reverend Maurice Crowley of Kitale Diocese, Right Reverend Norman Kingo Wambua of Bungoma Diocese, Right Reverend Peter Kihara of Marsabit Diocese, Right Reverend David Kamau Nganga of Nairobi, Auxiliary Bishop of Nairobi Archdiocese, Right Reverend Anthony Ireri Mukobo of Isiolo Vicariate, Right Reverend Vigilio Pante of Maralal Diocese, Right Reverend Celasius Mugambi of Meru Diocese, Right Reverend Emmanuel Okombo of Kericho Diocese, Right Reverend Anthony Muheria of Kitui Diocese and Apostolic Administrator of Machakos Diocese, Right Reverend James Maria Wainaina of Muranga Diocese, Right Reverend Paul Kariuki Njiru of Embu Diocese, Right Reverend Morris Makumba Muhatia of Nakuru Diocese, and Reverend Dominic Kimengich of Lodwar Diocese, Right Reverend Emmanuel Barbara of Malindi Diocese, and Right Reverend Joseph Mbatia of Nyahururu Diocese, Right Reverend John Obala Owa of Ngong Diocese, and Right Reverend Joseph Alessandro Coadjuta of Garissa Diocese, and Right Reverend Joseph Obanyi of Kakamega Diocese. Thank you very much.
The relationship between church and state. Pope Francis is coming to our country as the head of state of the Vatican and as the visible head of the Catholic Church. This is a good time for us to evaluate and define clearly in law the relationship between the church and the state here in Kenya. Since each has its own respective role in the society, there is need to take into cognition the separate spheres and competences that each of them enjoys, and to recognize, affirm, and protect the complementary roles that the state and the church have in respect to the service provision to the people of this country. The state has to respect the autonomy of the church and at the same time give the necessary concessions to the church in view of her missionary and charitable works, especially in the area of tax exemptions. The church, on her part, conscious of her divine mission and mandate that compels her to undertake charitable activities in favor of the needy and in the exercise of her teaching, sanctifying, and healing ministries entrusted to her by the Lord, commits herself to be faithful to the nature of her calling and to assume a prophetic task of being the moral conscience of the nation. It is therefore right and just that before any major decision that has moral and spiritual implications and that directly or indirectly touches on those areas that pertain to the competence of the church is made by the state, it is important for her to consult and dialogue with the church. In this way, the concerns of the church and all Kenyans are taken into account. Unity in diversity. Dear Kenyans, as the time of the Pope's visit approaches, each one of us is invited to ask himself or herself, what am I doing to make this country a more peaceful and prosperous nation? What am I doing to promote coexistence and to live that unity in diversity that celebrates the gifts and the riches that God has endowed to each and every community that forms part of this great country of Kenya. What more do I need to do so that there is genuine respect for this rich diversity as a nation that has made our country enjoy a high reputation in the eyes of the world, especially in the world of business, technology, athletics, protection of environment, in peacekeeping, to name but a few? Let us take to heart the words of St. Paul. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Appreciation. Furthermore, the Pope's visit will be an opportunity of renewal for all of us Kenyans, as we expect his message to inspire us to a greater sense of responsibility and duty to build a country that is peaceful and God-fearing. We sincerely commend all those involved in the preparations for this papal visit, that their generous efforts may be rewarded abundantly by God. Similarly, we note with a lot of appreciation those who have contributed their resources, experiences, and time to make this visit a memorable one. May God reward their wonderful generosity. Instruments of peace. In conclusion, dear Kenyans, we, your shepherds, call upon you to pray for our country. Let us embrace the values of integrity and work towards a peaceful and united country. Let us stand together and unite to build a secure and God-fearing nation. We make our own the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, whose name the Holy Father took at the beginning of his pontificate. And I quote, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy.
To host this event, in particular the Papal Mass, on the 26th. The University of Nairobi community, as a mother university, is totally enjoined in the spirit of the visit of the Holy Father, peace and reconciliation, unity of purpose, strength in diversity. We want to pray that this visit strengthens our resolve as a university to search for truth and knowledge, and that the virtues of academy will prosper as a result of this visit. We are all ready to welcome the Holy Father to the University of Nairobi, Kenya, and our country. Thank you very much.